Hey NFL fans, before we dive into today's hottest stories, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an update from NFL News Now. The Dallas Cowboys are in the middle of a crisis that's hard to overstate, and it all centers around a single, glaring truth. Micah Parsons is gone, and the hole he left behind is enormous. As the NFL trade deadline approaches, the Cowboys front office has been flailing, making aggressive calls to other teams in a desperate attempt to patch up a defense that has been unraveling since the offseason. Owner Jerry Jones, known for his relentless drive to improve his team, is reportedly pushing hard to acquire an impact player capable of shoring up a defensive unit that has been under siege week after week. Yet the response from the league has been a series of polite but firm no's, a frustrating reminder that true game-changing talent isn't something you can simply buy at the last minute. According to reports from Fox Sports insider Jay Glazer, Dallas has been exploring several high-profile options in an effort to resurrect their pass rush and provide some semblance of stability on defense. The Cowboys reportedly reached out to the Las Vegas Raiders about star pass rusher Max Crosby, a player whose ability to disrupt opposing quarterbacks could have transformed the unit overnight. They also made inquiries to the Cincinnati Bengals about defensive end Trey Hendrickson, another proven weapon in the trenches. In both cases, their overtures were declined, underscoring a stark reality. Other teams aren't willing to part with cornerstone defensive players mid-season, especially not for the type of offer the Cowboys could make without mortgaging their future. This series of rebuffs illuminates just how dire the situation has become in Dallas. The defense has been a glaring weakness all season, ranking near the bottom of the league in numerous key categories. Heading into Week 8, the Cowboys were giving up over 400 yards per game and nearly 30 points a contest, statistics that would be alarming under any circumstances, but catastrophic for a team that once relied on a ferocious defensive front. The unit has been especially vulnerable since the shocking decision to trade Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers in a move that stunned fans and analysts alike. Parsons was not just a player. He was a disruptive force, a defensive quarterback who dictated how offenses could operate and set the tone for the rest of the unit. Without him, opposing quarterbacks have had nearly free rein, posting an average passer rating of 110.6 against Dallas's secondary, a number that speaks volumes about the absence of a true defensive leader. The Cowboys' inability to secure players like Crosby or Hendrickson isn't necessarily surprising from a league-wide perspective. Teams are understandably hesitant to trade away key contributors in the middle of a campaign, especially when those players are proven difference-makers. What is striking, however, is how publicly desperate Dallas has appeared in the process. The franchise that once commanded respect for its disciplined, calculated approach to roster building now looks almost frantic, a team scrambling to address a problem it created with its own hands. The irony here is so sharp it almost hurts. The Cowboys are searching high and low for a player who possesses the exact skill set they willingly traded away just months earlier. Micah Parsons was more than a defensive end or linebacker. He was a generational talent whose versatility allowed him to impact every facet of the game. He could rush the passer with terrifying efficiency, set the edge against the run, and drop into coverage when called upon, making him a nightmare matchup for opposing coordinators. He was the heart of the Dallas defense, a cornerstone around which a team can be built. Trading him away was always going to carry immense risk, and now, the consequences are on full display. The Cowboys' defense lacks identity, leadership, and the singular force that can turn a game on its head. What's left is a unit struggling to find answers, desperately hoping that another team's cast-off can fill a Parsons-sized void, when in reality, such players are rare and seldom available. Jerry Jones, in his characteristic manner, has maintained public optimism, insisting that the team has the ammo to make a move and that a single loss shouldn't influence trade philosophy. Yet, beneath the surface, the lesson is unmistakable. Defensive impact players like Parsons are among the most valuable assets in the league outside of a franchise quarterback. They are not interchangeable, and trading one without an equally capable replacement is almost always a gamble. Dallas now finds itself in a scenario where time is running out, where desperation is evident, and where every passing week reinforces the mistake made in the offseason. The Cowboys may yet pull off a deal before the deadline, perhaps acquiring a lesser-known player to bolster the roster. But even if they do, it is unlikely that anyone can replicate what Parsons brought to the field. The team's current struggles are a living embodiment of the risks of short-term roster moves, a reminder that some talents are irreplaceable, and a cautionary tale for front offices across the league. What makes the situation even more compelling is the almost poetic irony that the Cowboys' current trade struggles directly mirror the magnitude of Parsons' absence. Every inquiry to other teams is essentially an acknowledgement that the defensive weapon they let go is the very type of player they now covet. The league has taken notice, and fans are left shaking their heads at a scenario that seemed improbable just a few months ago. Parsons was a transformational player, capable of single-handedly altering game plans and creating chaos for opposing offenses. Without him, the Dallas defense has become predictable, reactive, and, at times, completely overwhelmed. The Cowboys' search for a savior has become a race against time, a quest to replicate what cannot simply be replaced with a trade or a draft pick. The broader context here cannot be overlooked. The Cowboys are not simply struggling defensively. They are wrestling with a philosophical misstep that has real consequences. The front office's willingness to part with Parsons in pursuit of other roster objectives now seems misguided, if not outright reckless. The team's desperate attempts to acquire talent highlight the difficulty of correcting such a mistake mid-season. As the trade deadline looms, each passing day without an acquisition of comparable caliber only magnifies the irony and intensifies the scrutiny on Dallas leadership. Jerry Jones and his staff are left to navigate a landscape where the league knows exactly how far they are willing to stretch, and most teams are unwilling to play along. The Cowboys are, in essence, boxed in by their own choices, and the clock is ticking loudly. It's a storyline that reads like a cautionary tale. The value of a true difference-maker cannot be overstated, and trading such a player carries risks that extend far beyond the immediate headlines. Dallas is living that reality every Sunday, as the defense gives up yards, points, and momentum, and fans witness a unit searching for answers that are not easily found. The trade deadline serves as a brutal reminder of the law of scarcity in the NFL. Elite defensive players are precious, coveted, and nearly impossible to acquire midseason. The Cowboys' attempts to secure Max Crosby or Trey Hendrickson have only reinforced the lesson. You don't trade away generational talent and expect a simple fix. In the end, the Cowboys saga is as much about irony as it is about strategy. They are desperate for what they once had, scrambling to address a void created by their own decisions. The narrative is rich with lessons, from the consequences of short-term thinking to the brutal realities of the NFL trade market. Fans watch with bated breath as Jerry Jones navigates this treacherous territory, hoping for a miracle acquisition, knowing full well that no trade can replace what they lost in Micah Parsons. Each failed inquiry, each rebuffed offer, each week of defensive struggle only serves to underscore a painful truth. Some talents are irreplaceable, and sometimes the cost of losing them cannot be measured merely in dollars or draft picks, but in yards, points, and the very soul of a team. The Dallas Cowboys' current plight is, therefore, a story of irony, urgency, and caution. The desperate search for a defensive savior is not merely about wins and losses. It's a public illustration of what happens when a franchise miscalculates the value of a cornerstone player. Parsons' absence has left an indelible mark, a Parsons-shaped hole that no trade can fully fill. As the NFL trade deadline approaches, the Cowboys are racing against time, hoping for a breakthrough that may never come, and the league, along with fans everywhere, is watching the unfolding drama with a mix of fascination and disbelief. One thing is certain: the irony is complete, and the lesson is unmissable. Sometimes, the most valuable asset you have is the one you traded away. Keep watching as we analyze more details about some rumors. It's official, folks, and if you're a Cowboys fan, you might want to sit down for this one because it's sending shockwaves through the NFL community. The Washington Commanders have officially pulled off what could be one of the most shocking mid-season acquisitions in recent memory, snatching up linebacker DeMarvion Overshown from the Dallas Cowboys. Yes, you heard that right. Overshown, a player many had pegged as a cornerstone of Dallas defensive plans, has suddenly, almost out of nowhere, found himself in the red and gold of Washington. Rumors had been swirling for weeks about potential shakeups and internal conflicts within the Cowboys' defensive scheme, but no one really expected a move of this magnitude to actually materialize. And yet, here we are, with Overshown reportedly passing medicals, signing the dotted line, and immediately being integrated into Washington's defensive playbook. The rumor mills are now working overtime, speculating about how exactly this move happened, why Dallas would even consider letting a young, versatile linebacker walk, and what it means for both teams moving forward. Sources close to the Cowboys' locker room are suggesting that Overshown's departure wasn't entirely voluntary, and that tensions between the coaching staff and some of the younger defensive players may have reached a breaking point. Insider chatter indicates that Overshown had been pushing for a more significant role in the defensive rotations, arguing for more snaps in key third-down situations, and perhaps even asking for adjustments to his own responsibilities to showcase his range as a linebacker who can cover tight ends, drop into zones, and provide pass rush support. Some analysts are now speculating that this disagreement may have played a part in Washington's bold swoop. The Commanders, it seems, were watching every single move in Dallas, quietly biding their time, waiting for the right moment to make their move. And now, with Overshown officially a Commander, the question on everyone's lips is, how does this completely rewrite Dallas' defensive blueprint? Let's be clear, this is more than just a player trade. This is a seismic event in terms of strategic planning. Overshown was not just any linebacker. He was a key component in the Cowboys' hybrid defense, capable of filling multiple roles in both the box and in coverage. With him gone, the Cowboys' defensive coordinators are now scrambling to figure out how to plug the gaps that he leaves behind. Rumors suggest that they may have to adjust their entire front seven rotations, possibly moving other players out of position and experimenting with formations that they may not have fully tested in game scenarios. The immediate impact on the field could be dramatic, particularly against teams that exploit the weak spots in Dallas' linebacker core. And while the Cowboys brass has been tight-lipped, insiders hint that there is real concern about how quickly they can adapt without causing further disruptions to team chemistry. Meanwhile, Washington's locker room is buzzing with excitement. The Commanders are reportedly over the moon about the versatility and athleticism Overshown brings, with some coaching staff calling him an instant game-changer and a nightmare for opposing quarterbacks. Now, let's dive into the whispers around the league. There are murmurs that this move could also have a psychological impact beyond the X's and O's. When a young, high-potential player like Overshown is able to move from a team like Dallas, a franchise that has been in the playoff conversation consistently, to Washington, it sends a subtle message to other players around the league. Could we see more stars looking to shake up their situations if they feel underutilized or underappreciated? Some insiders are already speculating that the Commanders' front office may be positioning itself as a new destination for emerging defensive talent who are hungry to prove themselves. If Overshown flourishes in Washington's system, it could set off a domino effect, with other teams scrambling to retain their younger stars while avoiding potential locker room unrest. And let's not forget the fan reactions. Cowboys supporters are reportedly furious, taking to social media to vent frustration, while Commanders fans are absolutely celebrating, chanting Overshown's name and speculating wildly about how the team's defensive rankings could soar with this addition. The rumor mill is feeding itself, and every small detail, from practice footage to offhand quotes in interviews, is being dissected and analyzed like it's some kind of championship prophecy. Some analysts are already diving into potential schemes for Overshown in Washington. While Dallas had him primarily in a hybrid linebacker role, insiders suggest that the Commanders may unleash him in ways that could completely exploit his athletic ceiling. Imagine him dropping into coverage against the league's top tight ends, or blitzing from unexpected angles, or shifting between inside and outside linebacker responsibilities depending on the offensive formation. There's talk that Overshown could become the centerpiece of a newly aggressive Washington front, one designed to confuse quarterbacks and force turnovers in high-stakes situations. And it's not just about the physical presence on the field. Coaches are reportedly thrilled about his football IQ, his ability to read plays pre-snap, and his knack for leadership, even as a relatively young player. The whispers suggest that Overshown is expected to take on an almost mentor-like role for the younger defenders in Washington's roster, helping them elevate their game and understand complex defensive concepts on the fly. If true, this isn't just a trade. It's a tactical masterstroke that could shift the balance of power in the NFC East entirely. Meanwhile, the Cowboys' locker room is reportedly feeling the impact in real time. Players who had trained alongside Overshown are said to be stunned, with some insiders hinting at an uneasy energy during practices following the announcement. Coaches are scrambling to rebuild morale while recalibrating game plans that have been carefully designed around Overshown's versatility. The timing is also particularly brutal, with crucial divisional matchups coming up and opponents who have been studying Dallas' defensive tendencies already salivating at the prospect of exploiting these sudden weaknesses. Rumor has it that some of Dallas' younger linebackers are being thrust into starting roles earlier than expected, and while talent exists, there is still a concern about whether these players can seamlessly fill Overshown's shoes under such intense scrutiny. Sources suggest that the front office is urgently weighing options, perhaps even exploring trades or emergency signings. But nothing concrete has emerged, leaving fans and analysts alike on edge, wondering just how resilient the Cowboys' defense can be in the wake of this sudden shakeup. Back in Washington, the hype is tangible. Locker room insiders describe a palpable buzz as players and coaches alike imagine the possibilities that Overshown brings to their defensive unit. Rumors suggest that the coaching staff is already sketching out new blitz packages and coverage schemes specifically designed to exploit his strengths. Some insiders even whisper that Overshown's presence could make Washington a more formidable team than many predicted this season, potentially catapulting them from middle-of-the-pack contenders to legitimate playoff threats. And let's not underestimate the psychological edge. Having a former Cowboys linebacker now lined up against his old team adds a layer of intrigue, tension, and potential mind games that could play out over multiple matchups. Analysts are already speculating about how Overshown could be the difference maker in key divisional games, with some even predicting highlight reel plays that could define Washington's season. The rumors aren't slowing down, and every snippet of information leaks to social media, fueling endless debates among fans and pundits. The story doesn't stop with the immediate tactical implications, either. There are whispers about the financial side of this deal, although exact details remain under wraps. Some insiders suggest that Overshown's contract may include performance incentives that could make him one of the highest-paid young linebackers in the league if he hits certain milestones. That, in turn, could signal a new trend in player acquisitions, where teams are willing to make bold financial moves to secure emerging talent who can change the dynamics of their roster in a single swoop. Meanwhile, the Cowboys are reportedly bracing for the long-term consequences, potentially having to invest in draft picks or explore future trades to shore up the holes left by Overshown. The rumor mill has even suggested that this could be a catalyst for internal changes within Dallas, from coaching staff adjustments to defensive philosophy shifts, all aimed at mitigating the shockwave that Overshown's departure has caused. Across the league, everyone is watching, everyone is talking, and everyone is speculating on the next move. Because if the Commanders are willing to go this far, who's next? And what does this mean for the balance of power in one of the NFL's most competitive divisions? In short, what we are witnessing is not just a player trade, but a narrative-shifting moment with ripples that extend far beyond one linebacker or one team. The acquisition of DeMarvion Overshown by the Washington Commanders is sending shockwaves through the NFL community, forcing the Cowboys to rethink defensive schemes, altering locker room dynamics, and igniting speculation about future power shifts across the league. Fans are buzzing, analysts are dissecting every angle, and insiders are dropping hints that we've only seen the tip of the iceberg. Whether Overshown becomes the game-changer Washington hopes for, or whether Dallas finds a way to recalibrate and survive this loss, remains to be seen. But one thing is crystal clear. The ripple effects of this move will be felt for weeks, months, and potentially for seasons to come. The NFL rumor mill is ablaze, and if you thought mid-season trades couldn't be dramatic, this one has shattered that illusion entirely. Overshown in a Commander jersey is not just news. It's a statement, a headline, and a conversation starter that's dominating sports chatter nationwide. And as the story unfolds, we'll be watching closely, because the narrative is just getting started, and it promises to be explosive. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like this video and share it with your fellow NFL fans. Stay tuned for more updates, only here on NFL News Now.